Welcome, everyone, and thanks for being here to learn more about the G-spot and G-spot stimulation. In early published work on female sexuality, several researchers, including German gynecologist Ernest Grafenberg in the 1950s, referred to a sensitive spot on the front wall of a woman's vagina. In 1980, Beverly Whipple, John Perry, and Alice Lattice wrote a book about it and gave the spot a name, the G-spot, in honor of Grafenberg. Since the publication of that groundbreaking book, writing about the G-spot has appeared in dozens of magazines and books, and it's become part of our popular consciousness. Yet, people still have questions about how to find it and what to do with it once you get there. Some women wonder if they even have a G-spot. Let me set the record straight once and for all. Every woman has a G-spot. It's one of many erogenous zones on our bodies. G-spot stimulation is one way to bring ourselves or our partners pleasure, and for some women, it can lead to orgasm. But remember, just because every woman has a G-spot doesn't mean everyone will enjoy G-spot stimulation. When it comes to sex, we're all so unique, and what we like is specific to each individual. Now, speaking of specifics, let's take a closer look at female anatomy to identify all the parts we'll be talking about today. Here's the pubic bone, which sits behind the clitoris. Behind the pubic bone is the urethra, which is about 1.5 to 2 inches long and leads to the bladder. This is the urethral opening. Here we see 2 fingers inside the vaginal opening, and this is the vaginal canal. The urethra is surrounded by the urethral sponge. The urethral sponge is the G-spot, and I'll be using these 2 terms interchangeably. The urethral sponge is made of spongy erectile tissue, and as you can see in the magnified drawing, the tissue contains paraurethral glands and ducts. The G-spot can be felt through the front wall of the vagina about 1 to 2 inches inside the vaginal opening. Like the clitoris, the G-spot is not just an isolated spot of sensitivity, but part of a network of nerves, muscles, and tissue. When a woman's turned on, the glands within the urethral sponge fill with fluid, causing the sponge to swell. Sometimes that fluid is released through the paraurethral ducts into the urethra. This is called female or vaginal ejaculation. Because the G-spot swells and becomes more pronounced during arousal, the more turned on she is, the easier it will be to find her G-spot. So before you go hunting for it, and especially before you start stimulating it, make sure to warm her up. To find it, slip a finger inside and aim toward the front wall of the vagina. If you stroke the area slightly, you should be able to locate the G-spot. Compared to the smoother tissue of the inside of the vagina, the G-spot will have a different texture. It will feel wrinkled or ridged. Today I'm going to show you some techniques for G-spot stimulation, and I have 2 wonderful women to help me. Please welcome Donna and Sarah. Hi, ladies. Hi. Have a seat. So before we get started, I want to know from you, Donna, when did you first become aware of what the G-spot was, your G-spot?
Well, I think I first became aware of my G-spot the first time someone put their hands on my pussy. I just knew that it felt good towards the front when they put pressure on the front, but I didn't know what it was necessarily. And then when I was in college, I really liked reading instructional sex books, so I would go to the bookstore and read all their sex books, read all about the G-spot.
And then you had a name for it?
Yeah.
Okay. And Sarah, do you have any tips? What's your favorite way to have your G-spot stimulated?
I think it would just be direct pressure and kind of easing off and then more pressure, and I really like the pressure thing.
Yeah, no, the G-spot definitely needs firm pressure. I always try to emphasize that to people. You can't have just a light touch. It likes pressure. It likes firmness. So let's get started. Why don't you get Sarah warmed up a little while I talk some more?
Okay.
First, Donna is going to get Sarah warmed up.
I knew like sometimes I got really wet and I was like, oh, well, okay, everything's functioning. I didn't know that I was squirting because it never like really it projected, I guess.
I don't think I made her squirt. I think she was already like squirting before I ever got there. You know what I mean? She just kind of was like, I get really wet. And then I was like, okay, no problem. And then, you know, after the monsoon hit me, it was just like whoosh, and I was like, that's a little more than wet.
Oh, I don't come when I squirt. Not always. Sometimes though, I do.
So how does it feel different than an orgasm?
Your whole body tenses up, I guess, when you have an orgasm. And sometimes you squirt and it's just kind of a release. It's more of like pressure being relieved instead of actually coming. But if you squirt and come all at the same time, it's totally amazing. Everything starts shaking, you get all cold, and yeah, it's...
I know that there's ways to make girls squirt. And I know from what I understand and what I've seen, pretty much every girl can learn how to squirt. I think it's more of a mental block as opposed to a physical one.
And it's a muscle control. Once you learn to control that muscle
Yeah.
that's in there, you should be able to squirt.
Yeah. So I think then it turns into comfort. If the girl is uptight and, you know, not really receptive to that type of activity, then it's not gonna go too well. You know, because I mean that's kind of like a different thing for a girl to squirt, and so I can imagine what it would be like to be like self-conscious about that. So of course, if you're self-conscious, you're not going to be comfortable enough to experience something like that.
However, if you're having sex and you feel like you have to pee, you more than likely don't have to pee. It's the muscle that's holding back. If push on that muscle a little bit, just kind of be free and let it go, more than likely you're going to squirt. And then if you learn how to control that muscle, that's what's going to make it, whether you can project it or how it goes. But some people just dribble and it's not a lot of squirt. Other people project it in mass amounts.
Like when she starts squirting, like if I go down on her first, and then like I'm fingering her, what did you say? That's the floodgates
The
are open.
floodgates are open. And you can hear like you can.
Because her pussy just starts getting wet.
If you've